Welcome to Hospitality Insider, and I am Koni Kim, and today we have a wonderful guest from Stonehill and Taylor, Mike Sumi, a great designer who has accomplished a lot of hotels in New York City and all over the world. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Koni. Nice to see you.
Welcome. And please introduce yourself to the audiences and your name and your company.
I'm Michael Sumi. I am the principal, one of the principals, and the Vice President of Design for Stonehill and Taylor. We are a 75-person architecture and interior design firm located here in New York City. We predominantly do hospitality work. We also have a division that does medical and laboratory work as well.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. So I know that you have done many projects in New York City, and can you describe some of the great projects you have worked on?
Well, we have been doing a lot. We are doing a lot. I think we have 13 new build hotels in the 5 boroughs. I think 1 in Queens, like 5 in Brooklyn, and the rest are in Manhattan right now. In the last couple of years, we've done some really wonderful projects. I think the most notable would be the Crosby Street Hotel for Tim and Kit Kemp from London, down in Soho. And a couple of years ago, we opened the Nomad Hotel, which is actually right around the corner from our office. Just this last summer, we opened 3 hotels right in a row, starting with the Refinery Hotel near Bryant Park, and that followed by the complete renovation and repositioning as the North American flagship, the Novotel Times Square, for charters lodging. And 3 weeks ago, we had a grand opening event for the Nilo, the first Nilo hotel in New York City. I think it's the 5th hotel in the Nilo brand.
Oh, I see, okay.
So we've been very busy.
Yeah, it sounds like you have been very busy. So can you describe the kind of process, you know, if there's a developer or owner who wants you to do the whole project, what are the steps that you take?
We love doing whole projects, and as an architecture and interior design firm, we always believe that's the best approach because we can provide a comprehensive package and reduce the overall length of time that it would otherwise take if you're using multiple consultants. The process that we would go into would be not unlike any other architectural project. Usually the architecture would lead if it's a new build or an adaptive reuse. For example, like the Refinery was an adaptive reuse of an old hat-making factory building that was more like a warehouse, and that involved removing a large part of the original building to bring light and air down. So the architecture always leads in those projects where we're doing both. From a design standpoint, usually I'd say 3 to 6 months. And then the interior design, my interior design team would get involved. And we would have we're a team-based company where I have the same architecture or the same ID team on a project from beginning to end. So we would have that same group of people following you all the way through. And that way we feel we get the best quality at the end of the job.
So you are not just architectural, but you're also taking all the way to the interiors of a whole project.
That's correct. We have within our company, I oversee the interior design division, 18 people right now, and the architecture division is split up into under a couple of principals, and we have about 35 architects, registered architects, who are dedicated strictly to hospitality.
Wow. So, but you're not doing the purchasing of the project,
No, we stay away from purchasing. We find with, and actually I was a director of another company that we used to do our own purchasing. I find that hotel owners prefer to have those separated from a standpoint of checks and balances, and also to stay on top of getting the best price. So yeah, no, it's not something we're pursuing.
So how old is the company?
We were founded 50 years ago, originally as a firm called Lundquist and Stonehill, Two gentlemen, Oliver Lundquist and John Stonehill, started the firm focusing primarily on high-end residential. 30 years ago, Oliver Lundquist had left, and Paul Taylor had become a part owner of the company, and the firm was renamed Stonehill and Taylor at that time. That was actually 30 years ago next year, so next year will be our 30th anniversary of that name. So the company has quite a pedigree.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So before we go to the next session, can you share us with what is your biggest challenge that you face in this business?
I think the biggest challenge that today that we face has been, since the recession, we've been very busy,
right?
You know, thankfully, and but attitudes on the part of the development side, ownership side, attitudes about how they spend their money have changed somewhat, and there's been a re-education process.
Right.
How do we get the most for every dollar that our client is spending is paramount now. Prior to the recession, everyone was so busy,
right?
And it was schedule, schedule, schedule. Let's get things up, up, up. Nowadays, we've got a much better or a much tighter focus. Yeah, tighter focus also on aggressive bidding and rebidding and rebidding, especially on our new build projects where we have the time to do.
Right, it's the value driven at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So when we come back, we're going to discuss about the great project Mike has done in New York City and all over the world. Don't go away.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
Congratulations, Koni TV.
The first online internet
TV station
for the hospitality industry.
Congratulations, Koni TV. If you have not started watching it, you definitely should. Join us now.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Mike Zumi. Hi, Mike. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. Now I know all these great projects you have done. Give us your success stories. Which project do you feel so proud that you want to share why it became so successful?
Interesting question, because we've done so many projects, but one that I'm extremely proud of that we recently finished was the Novotel at Times Square. It was an existing hotel that has about 450 guest rooms. It has been there for approximately 20 years. Most New Yorkers and most Americans, in fact, didn't even know about the hotel. About 95% of the guests came from Europe, and out of those, the majority were French, as Novotel is part of the Accor brand.
Right.
It's very well known across France, Europe, actually, in Asia, but there's only a handful of properties in North America. I think there's 4 in Canada and 1 here in the U.S.
Right.
So for that project, Charters Lodging, I think you probably know Rob and Maki and Barry Nidifer. They acquired the hotel from Accor, and they had us do a complete top-to-bottom renovation, which in the public areas was a gut renovation, and the goal was to reposition it as the North American flagship for Novotel, for Accor.
Oh, wow.
And with a very strong focus on technology and contemporary design, with almost a future forward stand on what hospitality service, hospitality look and feel, infrastructure could be.
So I also understand that you're so much into sustainability and this green movement. Is this hotel has anything got to do with some of that implied?
The Novotel, from a standpoint of sustainability, we looked at products which were low VOC. They were, non-toxic, that were made out of natural materials, and however, beyond that, no. And part of the reason was because that's
existing hotel.
Well, it's an existing hotel that we were keeping open.
That's right.
But we also looked towards those kind of products because it's a commitment that Accor has made during the renovation projects. We do a lot of lead work. We just completed design on our 12th LEED hotel in the New York City area.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, and in fact, we just got the Nomad Hotel, which we completed 2 years ago. Just last week, received its LEED Gold certification.
Wow, that's
and it's
fantastic.
it turns out it's the second. It's the second only LEED Gold hotel in the state of New York. The first one was the Crosby Street Hotel, which we also did. So for us, it's as a company, it's a big focus, and happily we're able to work with clients who have that same goal.
Oh. So explain to the audiences what is LEED and how that becomes certified.
LEED is a system that is a point-based system, and like any other system, it's got a series of criteria which need to be met, and if you meet those criteria, each point has a criteria. The more points you get, the higher the ranking of LEED you can achieve.
Right.
So
right.
the and LEED itself is focused in several different areas, all having to do with making our planet better,
right.
a better place from an environmental standpoint, making experiences for people around the construction project better. So, for example, air quality, and that's air quality for guests who are in the hotel.
Right.
So providing them with a lot of fresh air,
right.
filtered air.
Right.
It's also air quality during construction.
Right.
So, for example, there's a point that's associated with while you're under construction, keeping down levels of dust and containing dust and particulates and anything that would escape your demolition
right.
or the construction that could pollute the air around the hotel and or affect your neighbors. So it's a pretty comprehensive program. It was originally developed for commercial construction, and over the years the United States Green Building Council, who manages LEED and
right.
Oversees it, they've transformed LEED so that it's more geared towards different building types. And in fact, on Monday, I'm hosting a panel at BDNY called Be the Change.
Okay.
It's outside the box thinking.
Right.
That is how individuals can affect positive environmental change. And there's one of the executives from the United States Green Building Council there talking about what they're doing to go beyond LEED, which is amazing.
That's fabulous. That's absolutely great. So what would you say if it's one advice you can give to everyone that you can contribute to this movement of making the world much better?
Well, I think that, like the name of the program that I'm moderating, Be the Change, each person can, in their own way, affect change. That's something that we promote in an organization I started with Cindy Allen called Future Green.
Okay.
It's a think tank that we get industry leaders to come, hospitality industry leaders to come one day a year and brainstorm on ways that we as individuals,
right.
As owners of companies, as owners of hotels, how we can make minor changes
right.
or major changes, mostly minor changes, that 5 years from now could have a major impact on how the environment is.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic, and I know that whole world is very concerned about we're polluting the world too much, and congratulations and much luck on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what is his future plans and what he sees the new vision of the hospitality industry. Don't go away.
Hi, I'm David Kim with Darf Design, and you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you are watching.
And you're watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
The first internet channel for the hospitality industry.
Watch and follow who she brings and what she brings to show you, to inspire.
KoniTV.tv. I love it.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Mike Zumi, and we're going to talk about his future plans and all the great things that he will contribute to the hospitality industry. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
So tell us this great plan you have. What do you see your vision for the future?
Well, we recently finished a project in Minneapolis for two owners, Hyatt Hotels Corporation and Starwood Capital, Barry Sternlich's company.
Right, right.
It's a hotel that's jointly owned by them, the Hyatt Regency Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been working on it for about 2 years, renovating it, repositioning it the way that you would normally renovate a hotel.
Right.
With one difference, we were asked to accelerate the schedule significantly.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we developed with the developer and also part owner, a gentleman named Doug Green from Haberhill, we developed a concept called Proudly Made in America.
Oh.
And with a goal towards designing the hotel from a conceptual standpoint, look and feel standpoint, where we would celebrate American manufacturing, or in the case of Minneapolis, North American, because it's right near the Canadian border.
Right.
Celebrate North American manufacturing, highlighting Minnesota itself, the industries that you find in Minnesota, like mining, the timber industry. There's a long history of woven woolen goods, and growing and harvesting wheat and turning it into flour.
Right, right.
We also thought, if possible, let's get things made in the state of Minnesota, and use things that are made in the state of Minnesota. So we set that as a goal. We had to get the buy-in of both ownership groups, Starwood Capital and Hyatt, and they thought it was a great idea from a conceptual standpoint, and they loved that idea of accelerating the schedule by getting everything made here as opposed to elsewhere in the world where you're having to take that extra time.
Right.
With one caveat, they didn't want to spend any more money. The budget was the budget.
Okay.
And so we had to come up with a way to prove that we weren't spending any more money. We worked with purchasing agent Stroud. I don't know if you know Stroud.
Yes,
And Michael and Margie from Stroud had this idea of, we'll do competitive bidding between North American manufacturers and overseas manufacturers,
Right.
so we could get apples to apples comparisons, but not just in the cost of the product itself, but also taking a very hard look at packaging, shipping,
Right.
shipping from wherever the factory was to, say, where the ship docks were, containerizing, the cost of getting it to the United States versus the cost of getting it from a North American manufacturer to the property.
Right, of course.
The cost of offloading, all those add-ons, all the add-ons, pluses.
Right.
And at the end of the day, after we did aggressive bidding, we found that we could spend about 85% of our FF&E dollars within North America.
Wow.
Competitively, at the same price or better than overseas, which was a shock
that's
for everyone. And the results were incredible. And we got 18 months worth of work done in 13 months.
Wow, that is good. So that is why you're seeing that you want to promote how we can actually, that cuts down your carbon prints too with all this fuel that
which was also taken into account as well.
That's right.
Not just the value, the cost of the fuel to get it over here, but also the fact that it's better for the environment.
Yes.
And so the term that I use is social sustainability. It's a bit different than environmental sustainability, which we're huge champions of.
Right.
But in the case of that project, we weren't really focused on the traditional forms of environmental sustainability, like using a LEED. We didn't use the LEED process. We weren't focused on the specific chemicals that are used to make up the furniture and the finishes.
Right.
What we were really focused on was trying to make stuff as close as possible, and from an economic standpoint, to spend our clients' money in the area where the hotel is.
I understand.
And really support the industries in that area.
Right. Yeah. That's fantastic. That it is amazing that you're able to achieve that. But now that let's talk about that. I know that you are involved in a lot of programs that you teach and you're giving back. So tell us a little bit about that.
The biggest way that I'm giving back now is what I had mentioned earlier, Future Green, which is founded by myself and Cindy Allen.
Right.
We have a board of directors who are my peers. Rob Gatsky from Gensler, Margaret McMahon from Wimberley Interiors.
Right.
Those kind of individuals.
Wonderful.
There are 8 very passionate people on the board, and our goal is to find ways for everybody, individuals, to take simple steps. This is ultimately our goal. Take some simple steps now that have profound, that may be very easy, but they could have profound impact on improving the environment 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
That is great.
Yeah, making major change is difficult.
That's right. But yeah, that, like I said, small steps take you to major steps.
Yeah. So in our first year that we had the organization and our think tank, the focus of that initial event was Proudly Made in America ? And it was during the time when we were coming up towards the presidential election, and both Obama and his opponent were waving this flag of bring jobs back to America. Let's bring manufacturing back to America. And it was in all the newspapers. And quite frankly, it was a talking point for the press that they latched onto, but they didn't ever explain it, nor did they ever explain the difficulties. You're a manufacturer here. You know how hard it is to make things. And so we focused on the pros and cons of manufacturing in America. What are there things that shouldn't be made in America? What are the things that we used to make that we lost? Did we lose, what the skill sets we've lost? How hard would it be to bring certain industries back, because there are people here who don't know how to do it anymore. So we spent that whole time focused on that, and we came up with a commitment that we had all 65 people really commit to who were part of that think tank, and that was each one of them was going to try and do a socially sustainable project.
That's fantastic.
A designer was going to try and do a project where they would focus on getting some FF&E made in the area. A hotel owner was going to try and look at, instead of perhaps buying their soaps or their bathrobes from a manufacturer very far away, maybe there's an alternative where they could spend some of those dollars regionally. And so that was a simple commitment that people made, and after the first year we had a lot of success stories.
Well, that's great. So unfortunately we're running out of time, but I would like you to share one word of a great wisdom that with the audiences, anything that you have experienced in your life, what would you like to share?
Passion. Yeah, I think that our industry is about passion.
That's right.
The hospitality industry has been built on the shoulders of great men who are extremely passionate, and women who are extremely passionate about hospitality, and it's I think at the end of the day, if you bring passion to what you do, you're going to achieve greatness.
We don't care how many hours we work, but it feels like you got a passion. Thank you, Mike. It was such a pleasure being with us today.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Hospitality Insider. And if you would like more information, go to konitv.tv. Thank you for watching.
This is Ken Salyer with Tricus, and I want to thank you for watching.
You're watching.
Thanks for watching Koni TV.
Koni TV. Koni TV.
Watch it every day for the latest hospitality news, hospitality trends, or whatever you desire to find out in the hospitality industry.
Come join us now at konitv.tv.